Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching.
No, nobody's watching. Closed eyes, guaranteed. All cameras are on.
Yeah.
Well, get out in front. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah.
Oh, on the tire, right?
Hi, Elmer. How you doing?
About 51s.
Thank you.
There isn't much to learn. They're like an airplane. It does have a
What kind of flight did you have in this morning? How was it?
Smooth.
Was it? And you
Delightful.
You came from where?
Chino.
Chino. Oh, good. Right out where we live.
He was a good driver.
Do you fly often in this?
Oh, whenever we go to an air show that I want to go to, which is pretty often. This is probably the 7th or 8th time, I think, that I've gone up in it. I don't go up in it for fun, but I go up to get there.
Well, that's a good, quick way to get there.
Oh, I like to
We're
be
going
there.
to tow
How long does it take you to come up from Chino?
P-51 out here if we can have everybody.
Oh, golly, I
back.
didn't time it, but it seemed like
Probably an
half an hour.
Really?
Must have, maybe a little more. Takes us about half an hour into Santa Ynez. This is a little farther. But I was busy. I did the crossword puzzle, and then I ate some grapes, and then I was sewing.
Aha!
I brought a sewing project, so I'm so busy I didn't keep track of the time. And that way, if I keep busy, I don't see the mountains we're flying over.
Okay, and your name is?
Elmer Ward.
E-L-M-E-R and
Yeah.
Ward, W-A-R-D, right?
There, well, for many years I never liked the name Elmer, but now I like it because no one forgets it.
That's right.
You know, how many Elmers are there? There are very few of us.
That's right. That's right. I like it. You're okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit? You were explaining to me earlier that this plane has quite a history to it. Just for instance, it was in a movie, I guess, right?
It was in a movie.
And what movie was that?
Now you catch me like
The Battle Hymn?
Battle Hymn. That's it. How did you remember it? I couldn't even remember it. Battle Hymn was a story about a Korean orphanage, and it starred Rock Hudson. And this airplane was bailed to Universal Studios, and it was towed down the streets of Hollywood and ended up in a studio, and it was used for the fog scene. And they dumped the engine out of it. I have the engine. They dumped the engine out of it, and I don't know what they did with the propeller. Never did find that. And they put a 5-horsepower electric motor in it and a couple of sticks in the front, and you turn those around, it looks just fine for a movie camera.
All right. And so at some point anyway, you decided you wanted to buy it. Why buy it? Why go out and buy the P-51 21?
Well, when you've wanted something for 40 years or so, it seems to be the thing to do. P-51 represents the sort of the pinnacle of propeller-driven aircraft used by the Army Air Corps.
Now this plane, the plane you picked, this is just any old plane. This Colonel Kennard that flew it had quite a history.
No, Colonel Kennard never flew this airplane. His airplane, the original man of war, eventually became the Old Witch after he left the 4th Fighter Group and went to the 355th. And the Old Witch was flown by another lieutenant, I can't remember his name for sure, and he was shot down over Germany. So that aircraft disappeared.
Okay, so this is a replica,
This
though,
is a
of
replica
Kennard's
of it.
plane, which
Yeah.
had 30 kills to it or whatever. This type of plane, right?
Yes, he, as near as I can tell, he flew 5 airplanes in about a year and a half, which wasn't unusual, especially for someone who moved around as much as he did. He was commanding officer of 2 fighter groups, the 4th, which was the top-ranking fighter group in the European theater, and that's what it's painted as. It's a red nose, which was the 4th fighter group. He subsequently became commanding officer of the 355th, which were the white noses at Steeple Morton. This was at Debden. So there were only, I think, 2 whoever became commanding officers of 2 groups. There's no one with the record that he has. In the time that he was there, he got there when he was 32. Pappy Boyington was called Pappy because he was 28. This guy was 32 and deaf. He had been training other pilots in T-6s, which is a terribly noisy airplane. By the time he got there, he was virtually deaf. I've talked to his radio man, and he said that he had to put 2 amplifiers in series to get up to the point where he could hear, and with his engine running, you could stand outside the cockpit and listen to him talking to the tower.
And yet this guy was an incredible fighter pilot, huh?
He was an incredible fighter pilot. As shown here, he's been there. He's been in Europe for probably 9 months, something like 9 months. He already has 17 kills. His airplane eventually, when he was with the 355th, had 30 kills on it. I think they've credited him with 27 confirmed.
And that's what those little...
That's what the crosses are.
What they signify.
He's got phenomenal character. Happy Boynton only had 18.
Great!
This is his crew here on the side.
Well, that was at that time. A lot lonelier.
I hope he knows.
Easily is right here in Northern California.
Oh, he's still. How you doing?
Trying to get it as close to you as Gary.
Sign my poster here.
Yeah, it's a... when they come making the airship, people will pay for their gas.
Tail back up. Take a 3-point tail.
It's got his idle down this way.
All right. 360 brake. Oh yeah. Oh, you got him? Go ahead. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's the valve that...
Which is probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, no, it's still on.
I don't...
And I've still got the... Yeah, mine are just clipped off for the drop tanks.
What they're talking about doing to you is probably doing your whole airplane. But those 3 lines probably cost $60 a piece. You know, by the time you buy this fitting...
Oh yeah, he was talking...
tell.
Never has had an oil change.
It never had an oil
No,
change.
sir.
Good deal. How long have you had that?
About 1943.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was 1943.
1943.
Yeah.
It still fits. Isn't that amazing?
Well, that's just all according to Got enough?
No, did you fly these things? Did
Yeah, I
you?
flew these Schnortenzoomers here, yeah.
What theater?
American Theater.
Kentucky Air National Guard.
Yeah, Kentucky Air Guard.
It's kind of a thrill to see this many of them still left, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's a shame we couldn't have got some of the things, when they were selling for $1,000 or $2,000.
Yeah.
We weren't smart enough, man.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have $1,000.
That was a lot of money in those days, you know. Nice talking to
Good to see
you.
you.
What's your name?
Blue Shoe.
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
I'll get it.
Yellow Tim.
There's the other one. P-40.
You heard?
What's that weigh?
Pardon?
Too many questions. Somebody else asked
the
me
hat?
another.
You mean the hat?
Yeah. How many fly P-51s also?
Yeah,
Also in China?
yeah. P-47s too.
P-47s. Oh, jugs.
Yeah, got this one.
Really?
They don't like this inside.
Oh, they don't?
Look at these coming in over here.
Andy Anderson, huh?
Yes, sir. Well, that P-40 got lost.
Yeah. Here he comes.
Sandy. Here's that P-40. You don't know something. He's got the, remember they had the Tigers with him?
Oh, that's a beauty.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that.
P-40 ain't that bad either.
You got a little soft spot for that, right?
Yeah, well, I was born in that.
You need to bring string up about 3 feet. Yeah. There it is.
Probably the best fighter aircraft ever built. It outperformed Spitfire or any of the German aircraft. And you're going to have about 30 of them here today, tomorrow. P-40 was the forerunner of the P-51. It was the early bird.
Ralph, what did you fly, and tell us about one of your missions?
Oh, I can't tell you about it. I flew 132 missions in China, Burma, and in 1943, 44. I was with the 80th Fighter Group. And we went all the way from Upper Assam into China and down into Burma for a year and a half. Mostly it was air support for ground troops, protecting the air from the Japanese. I got in a couple of air battles and got 3 victories. That was a lot of fun.
Great. Were you scared at all? I mean, a pilot, you nerves to seal, or?
You don't get scared until after you're back. You get scared when you get on the ground. But at the time, you're too busy to just do what you have to do. And we were young, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks.
I have a question.
Thank you very much.
Just a question about the reunions and get-togethers like this. It looks like a pretty good, tight-knit fraternity here.
Well, fighter pilots are a tight group. We didn't have big crews or anything, and we hung together individually. And since we're all getting older now, we're all trying to get together more often. So we do it at least once a year with every group. P-47, P-51, P-40, P-38 guys. And they all get together at different places every year. And we tell our lies and have our fun and do it again next year.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for asking me.
Thanks a lot.
The man was asking me what this Chinese.
Oh yeah, well that's your shoot-down weapon.
Yeah, I told him that it said there's an American here to fly for you, kill him, shoot him. That's what the Chinese all tell me. You know?
Yeah, that's what it says.
There was an escape mechanism. If we bailed out, they'd help us out. It says something about help this man get to friendly territory or something.
Is that your original coat?
This is it, 1942.
Really? Boy, yours lasted.
Well, I took care of it. This is my original insignia.
Yeah.
Red Devil Squad.
There's your That's incredible. You must have taken good care of it. You had obviously.
Well, it's had a lot of saddle soap.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, this is a lot of fun. There's going to be a good time tomorrow when they fly all these birds.
Oh yeah.
This old bird looks good.
Yeah. Well, that's right about the time that you were having fun.
Oh yeah. I saw my first Jap flying one of those.
How long did you fly in the P-40s before you? Would you go to P-47s after that?
Yeah, I had over 100 missions in the P-40, and then we got P-47.
47. And then finally the P-51s after.
Yeah, flew those intermittently, but we had the Jug P-47 before. After I got home, I flew the 51 a lot.
Everyone with a different personality, I suppose.
Yeah, they fly differently. This airplane wants to fly. It just.
P-40?
No, the 51.
51, yeah.
And the P-40, it jumps right off the ground, but it doesn't have the power or the slickness of the P-51. But the Jug, you know, you could run that 10,000 feet, and if you didn't pull back, it'd fly off the other end.
Keep right on going.
But we called it a groundhog, but it was a good airplane. Once you got to altitude, you go to 42,000 feet, you just sit there all day.
Well, I hope you have a grand time.
Hey, this is going to be great. We all appreciate what you guys and Kathy did.
Kathy's just gone crazy with this thing.
Well, when you get it all over with, you tell her we all appreciate it very much.
She's got me doing the in-house local.
And then we built some. You see, he's got a British marking.
I was going to ask you
We
about
built
that.
those for the Crits early on. They were called Kitty Hawks.
Uh-huh.
And they had different models called the Kitty Hawk and the War Hawk.
This is a fairly late one here.
Year
I see.
born. And I don't know how the sequence of the others is when it came off the line and which factory it was in.
So that
If it was
43
built,
is the year that was made. And
yeah,
then,
then maybe one or two of those numbers says Buffalo where it was built, or maybe down in Texas they had some.
this is an M, P-40M.
Yeah.
So you were how old when you got in this one of these?
23.
23.
A lot of these guys were only 18, 19 years old. When I got over to combat, I was an old guy. I was 3 or 4 years older than anybody. Who's that old guy getting in here?
Grandpa.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I don't want to take up all your time.
Hey,
but
I've enjoyed talking to you.
I enjoyed talking to you, sir.
Anybody that's that interested, I'll talk to them all day.
It's been a pleasure.
Hey, good.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Lynn Young.
Okay, Lynn.
Glad to talk
I'll
to you.
hear from you, right?
Okay, you betcha.
Okay. I'll respond. I'm good at that.
Oh, good. Right away.
See you like me, then you gotta get retrained.
Where's your Harley? No Harley today.
But there's one out front.
Oh.
I saw one when I came in.
That-
The reason I have this thing at the back,
there you go.
my boy was on one of these, three deals, bicycle, swimming, and running.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And what have you.
Triathlon.
Near Pittsburgh. And he went to a little town called Barkey. My name is Barkey.
Yeah, Bob Barkey.
Yeah.
From Monrovia.
You're right.
Right.
How do you know that?
Well, I've seen you on another videotape.
Really?
Yeah.
So anyhow, he picked this up. I've never talked to a man with the name of Barkley.
Is that right?
So he brought me one of these shirts.
That's great. Let me see that. Let me get a picture of that. Huh. Well, you got a home away from home there.
I never knew that. How about that?
Your name is what?
Bob Kleinman.
Bob Kleinman. And?
Earl Keelgas.
Great.
My old outfit was the 436 Fighter Squadron from the 479th Fighter Group out of Watersham, England.
Watersham, England, huh? Did they have any hard airstrips over there? Or did you have to fly off the... I always see the pictures that it looks like they're grass or turf or something. That
No, ours was concrete, about 1,800 feet long, and
oh boy.
but we did have a long runway that was pierced plank, but we didn't use it because all the junk used to come up and get into the radiator.
Yeah.
But it was a good view.
But in France we had a little different problem. He laid steel mesh. It's not the pierced planking, but a steel mesh right on top of the ground. And we'd take off over that. It would undulate.
Oh,
Sometimes we'd drop our ball.
just like lumps, huh? Jeez.
Like your
But later
goosebumps.
on we found concrete runways. But on the beach we didn't have concrete runways.
Were you involved in any of the Normandy
Yes, I was.
stuff? Huh. I was just, let's see, I was 4 years old when all that was going on, but I hear these airplanes and I can remember when I was 4 years old hearing them fly over. It's something that you never, it's like a steam train whistle. You never lose that. When you hear it, it just still gives you one of these goosebumps, you know?
What do you think it does to us when we see all that?
I can imagine. Oh, it's got to be a thrill. Got to be a thrill.
We might hear something tomorrow like we used to hear, 24 of these things running up at the same time.
Oh man.
That makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, isn't that great? Jeez. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's nice been seeing some
God
of our
bless.
old
Good.
friends.
Good?
Yeah, great.
Were they that shiny when you had them
No,
over there?
they made them as dull as they could so you couldn't see.
Couldn't see, wouldn't reflect, huh?